This is the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-Star Preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
Good evening and welcome into the Walk-Thru presented by 5-Star Preps and of course our lovely sponsor in Triple F, Paige Dauer, alongside Jesse Smithey. As far as the first week goes, it was an incredibly exciting first week, especially with the First Bank Football Classic.
Absolutely.
But yeah, great week to be back here talking all things high school football.
Yeah, Triple F always a gracious host and upgrading some turf that we're sitting on. I feel special. We get to be one of the first ones on the turf today, and this place isn't that old, but that just shows you they're investing in their facilities. They want to make sure everything's top notch and state of the art, and new turf indoors for all their clients and all the kids that work out here. And always love being here. Just kind of gets me in the mood for the week.
Yeah, and when you were doing the agility drills earlier, you looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I've shed a few pounds in the off season so I can get on those dot drills and run some back and forth. But no, it's I need to stay off of this. I don't want no cutting, nothing like that. I don't want to tear any ACLs this early in the season.
Yeah, no, make sure you do your stretches before and after. But without week one, you need some hiccups, otherwise it wouldn't be week one. And of course, weather played a little bit of role in those hiccups, specifically with PAL and AC. A lot of these games ending up not going to be rescheduled. There'll be no contest, starting with the Mavericks and Panthers.
Yeah, and that was a game that so many people look forward to each and every year, including myself, just because of the amount of touchdowns that they put up, the great talent that they have on both sides of the field for each team. And there was a lot of buzz about Anderson County and a lot of buzz about Powell coming into this season, and made it to I don't know, somewhere around the start of the second half, and that game was called off and was supposed to resume Saturday at 1:00, and then there was some type of incident after the game where it was just completely, hey, we're going to call off this game. It's a no contest. So never really got the full details or the scope of what happened there, but felt like just the parties involved felt it was best just to kind of call this off and move on into week two. But Bearden and West never really got off the runway. I mean, it was just delayed, push back Saturday night, just monsoons and lightning storms. Heritage and Clinton, they on again, off again, on again, off again. We have a few highlights and a few pictures of that up on our site, but not the full range of the game. And those are two teams that we were excited to see, and had a little bit of electricity about them coming into this season. So there was a little bit of a damper to week one, but for the most part, we got the season going. Not at a strong pace, so hopefully it picks back up. We get it all. I know one thing, I love the weather this week so far. It's been amazing.
It feels like fall instantly.
Absolutely.
Yes. One game that didn't have a weather delay, almost felt like they were going to have a weather delay, was Alcoa and Maryville, and thankfully they didn't, because it literally came down to the final 2 seconds of the game.
Yeah, an unbelievable game between Alcoa and Maryville. Alcoa getting back-to-back wins in that series for the first time since, what, 09, 10, somewhere around that range, and winning 3 out of 4 against Maryville. And you were at that game. You're working sidelines as well. And there was a point in the first half where I thought Maryville might build a double-digit 10 to 14 point lead. Thomas Manu.
Yes.
I call him Manu, man. I'm from Tennessee. It's Manu to me, but everybody else is calling him Manu, like Manu Ginobili. So Thomas, man, I apologize if I say it wrong, but he's very much in the same role that Eli Graff was in a year ago. Not only is he starting quarterback, but he's also the starting punter. And the first time he dropped back to punt, he's rolling around kind of rugby style. He held on to it for too long. The punt was blocked. Maryville, first play, 39-yard touchdown pass. They take a 14-7 lead. Alcoa's next possession, it's kind of stalling for a little bit, and you're going, okay, Maryville's really got the momentum. They have a chance to build it to 10 to 14 points right before the half. And then Thomas Manu scrambles around like he did all game long, heaved one downfield. It's caught with, 20 seconds left in the first half, ties the game. And from that moment forward, I feel like Thomas really felt like, I can make plays in this game. I can compete with this guy. Remember, he's a new starting quarterback.
Correct.
For Alcoa. And in the second half, I thought he just played a masterpiece of a football game.
Oh, absolutely. And I think even from the very beginning, getting guys like Micah Jones involved in the game, he really fed the offense for much of that game. And then, I probably would have named him, the player of the game in that one too. But it was just such a phenomenal game. And what you really liked was how the defense really responded. Brian Nix talked about needing to tackle better. And then after the game, in fact, it was his daughter. She's a cheerleader. It was her first varsity game that she cheered. And she's like, Dad, you can't lose the first game that I'm cheering. So he lives up to that. And it was a really exciting moment as like all of the fans are rushing the field and all of that to happen. But a really exciting game that happened.
Yeah, and for Thomas, early in the game, I felt like he was holding on to the ball. He was scrambling a lot. And I'm thinking, man, guys, you're going up to 4A this year. You're taking a lot of hits as your starting quarterback in this game against 6A Maryville. Like, what's his body going to be like by the end of this game? But as the game wore on, you saw him get more out into space, avoid those hits, distribute the ball to his playmakers, and really kind of come into his own as the starting quarterback. And I'm excited to see what he does going forward.
I'll tell you, Will Jones, I think he'll be the real deal. He had so much pressure that entire night, and I don't know how he got the ball out of his hands. Like, he'll be just fine this season.
It wasn't like Maryville just like played terrible.
No.
It was a really well played football game on both sides, and Alcoa just made that score late and were able to knock the ball away. Condis Cherry, I believe, got the pass deflection there on the final play of the game. It's just one of those well-played football games. So as I told, I think Vince Ferraro, 99.1 Friday night, look, I'm not worried about Maryville.
No.
I mean, they look just fine, and they've had some injuries they've had to deal with. But despite that, I mean, they're doing pretty well. Yeah,
and somebody else who looked just fine was William Blunt. Talk about a couple of surprises that happened. A shutout over Loudon. I think it was 49-0.
Yeah, I mean, this Jackson Dabrowski, at quarterback, he's a senior. He had a really nice year last year, all-region player, but had a fantastic game against Loudon. I think 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. And that's one of my surprise teams from week 1 was William Blunt, because Loudon traditionally, year in and year out, is a playoff team. They're well coached, solid, always got good athletes, and that was just a surprise moment. But I mean, William Blunt showed well in some preseason scrimmages, especially against Anderson County. So they had our attention, but I didn't expect that. Right. And I also didn't expect Carter. I think Carter,
year 2 for Todd Helton.
Carter putting up 50 in the first half was incredible.
Yeah,
so
that was awesome.
Those are my 2 surprise teams for week 1.
I also want to get to the First Bank Football Classic. What a game that was for the inaugural.
Yeah, so we were worried all Saturday about the weather, and we had people praying for that game to go off without a hitch. And their prayers worked, because we had a little drizzle maybe in the first half at some point, nothing substantial. And then after the game, some sprinkles, but all around were thunderstorms. And on my drive home, I drove through torrential rains and thunderstorms.
Oh, no.
So it was just like there was a hedge of protection around that stadium.
Yes.
And we got that game off and played in time. In Sevier County, week 1, they're not at their peak. And you can tell that. There's some new things that they're working in, some new players that they're working in. But still, at times, you could see the flashes of what could be with Cooper Newman at quarterback and all the Parker Newman at wide receiver and linebacker and all the playmakers that they have. Still breaking in some new offensive linemen and some new players elsewhere. So it wasn't a crisp effort. I wouldn't say that they would grade an A or an A+.
Sure.
But definitely something to work with there. I'm not going to be surprised to be talking about them on this show in November.
Yeah, we'll talk about them a little bit more here, because if you've not already subscribed to 5starpreps.com, let this be like maybe a slight encouragement. So I'm trying to read the article, see what's going on in that game, because while it was a 27-7 win, it really wasn't that close. And you could go to really how balanced Sevier County was in that game. And you could go to a comment from Parker Newman, who said after that special teams play where they scored a couple of plays later, he says, it turned everything around. You saw a lot of heads go down on their sidelines. So that's some real good, unique insight that you get there, where they're just kind of telling you how it is.
Absolutely, and it's just one of the things we love to bring to our subscriber base. And great story by Dean Fox there. He covered that for us, because I was running around doing a bunch of different things that night. And but yeah, I mean, Parker Newman's right. Their defense in that game really played a part, and it's a Farragut team that we talked about last week that really wanted to make a splash coming out in week 1 of that Sevier County defense. Man, they got 2 6'5" linebackers. They got unbelievable secondary. And so that was just hard for Farragut to manufacture any offense that night.
Yeah, we'll have a couple exclusive interviews coming up from Oak Ridge and from players like Cooper Newman as well. So make sure you stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
Jefferson County's getting there, put you on better. We have good practice right now.
Wherever life takes you, bank on First Bank.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Cooper, you get my MVP chain, and I hate to depart with it, but just kind of your thoughts on tonight's game.
Yeah, I thought we battled with them. They're a great football team. We came in knowing that. The first half we did a good job, and I think in the second half we did a good job with the rain coming down, just running the ball, and I think just winning up front.
You know, the first week is never super crisp. What do you feel like is going to be the next jump for this team?
Yeah, I think this is a good stepping stool for us. We did a good job today, and I'm proud of what we did, but we're going to work hard next week. We're going to go dive into film. We'll be at the field house tomorrow morning with our players watching that stuff, trying to just improve on watch a play and be like, hey, I can do this better. I can do this better. He can do this better. We'll work on that this week of practice and then be a better team next Friday night.
How eager were you guys to get to game number one?
Oh, yeah, it was crazy. Waiting that extra night, sitting at home last night with my parents watching football games, like, man, I wish I was out there. But just to get out there tonight and to know that high school football is back, it's an amazing feeling.
How do you prepare for week one when it's a Farragut team that you haven't seen? They're going to have new faces, new components to them. How do you prepare in that kind of situation?
Yeah, we know, building off of last year, playing all the athletes we played, that we knew that they were going to have a bunch of athletes in this game, and just working on that stuff, watching their preseason scrimmage film and just doing all that kind of things. I think that we did a great job tonight to build on that next week.
Wherever life takes you, bank on First Bank.
Welcome back into the Walk-Thru. Paige Dauer alongside Jesse Smithey, presented by Triple F. What I love really most about that interview, one, he looked so happy wearing the MVP chain, but I'm a little sad that it's week 2 and you're not wearing it still.
Yeah, I had a fun time wearing that on the set last week, and feel like a piece of me is missing now. I feel like we need to bring it back somehow.
We have to. Every
Maybe
week we need one.
get another one made or something, but Cooper was so excited to win that MVP chain, and he had to put it on himself, and so he got that. He had watched the Walk-Thru last week and had his eyes on that MVP chain, so he deserved it. Threw a couple touchdowns in that game and really led them to victory, but he's going to have bigger nights, bigger moments to come, and probably better hardware that he's going to
I don't know about that. Set a goal, see a goal, and you achieve it. So that's awesome. Other interviews we'll have coming up is the tight end from Oak Ridge and Malik Howard's, but I want to continue to look at week 2 now. There's a lot of exciting games that are happening, and a lot of them that have a long history and in recent years have gone back and forth. We really could start with Catholic and Anderson County. So it's 8-1 all time. Yeah. But it's maybe.
So they used to be region rivals there for a while. Yeah. And so it's good to see Catholic getting some local teams back on their schedule this year. I think they take on Halls later on in the year. And so that's fun to see them playing public schools again.
2016 was the last time that these two teams had met.
I think they were in the same region back then, but it's a game that's going to be on TV, I believe. The same players that we talked about for Anderson County last week are going to be in the mix again. Your Jason Thompsons, your J.D. Gillums. We can go down the list of all the playmakers they have, and it's a long list. And the same could be said for Catholic. And a lot of people up in Clinton are going to get their first-hand look at Tyreek King, who went off last week in that win over Riverdale, 140 yards receiving, an 89-yard touchdown. I don't know if you saw the clip, but he dusted those two defensive backs from Riverdale. I mean, there had to be 15 yards of separation between him. But Anderson County has a really nice secondary. So guys that have moved into Clinton, enrolled there, and now are back there in that secondary. So it's going to be some interesting matchups between Catholic's wide receiver core and AC's secondary. That's kind of the thing to look for on Thursday night.
The other matchup to look at is Oak Ridge at Clinton. So they're 51-12 all time. Oak Ridge won the last one, and then the year prior is Clinton. But before 2023, Clinton hadn't won since 2009.
Yeah, this is the matchup that Oak Ridge feels pressure from the community that you do not lose to Clinton, and it is hammered home. in that locker room each and every week and pretty much all year long. And there have been some close calls in recent years and then some not so close calls in recent years. But when you look across at Clinton, you say, okay, they got a new head coach, a lot of changeover from there, some new players in. Oak Ridge, more established, more players returning from their starting lineup from a year ago. You got to feel like Oak Ridge feels like they have to win that game because of where they are as a program, and they don't want to lose to Clinton. But in rivalry games, when it gets heated and you kind of might lose your head a little bit in certain moments, things can happen. So that's a big game, and we'll talk about that game with Malik Howard coming up next segment.
The other one is Powell and Farragut. What I think is really interesting is that this is their third straight meeting that they've had, and the last time they've had 3 or more meetings in a row was back in the 90s.
Yeah. So for this game, I want everybody to pay attention to the two offenses. For Farragut, how can they make a jump from week 1? They had some new members in their wide receiver core after graduating 2 outstanding wide receivers from last year. And so how can they better that? How can they better their run game going into week 2? For Powell, Deuce Rogers got hurt in that game against Anderson County in the first half. We don't know if he's going to try to play through it. Matt Lowe never talks about injuries. No. I don't even bother calling him or texting him. I've known from experience that he will not tell me anything. But I do know that Deuce Rogers, 6'3", 240 pounds, dual threat quarterback. I believe I was told it was a knee thing. So we're going to see if he gives it a go. If not, I mean, that's going to hugely affect Powell's regular season.
The next game to look at is Upperman at Greenville. I honestly think this could be a very sneaky game.
Upperman has a lot of people's attention again because they put Webb on a beat down last week.
Oh, yeah. Was that called at halftime?
Yeah, it was like 29-7 or something like that. I can't remember what it was at halftime, but it was bad. And that was shocking because I saw Webb quite a bit in the preseason. They got a big offensive line. They have Shavar Young. They have other playmakers, and they have a really good quarterback. And Upperman absolutely gets after it defensively, and that's something that Greenville likes to do as well. Both teams have their eyes on 4A success, and we'll see if that can happen. But remember, Upperman knocked out Greenville a couple years ago in the playoffs when everybody thought Greenville, including me, was going to win a state championship. And so Greenville might have a little revenge on its mind in that game.
Oh, truly, truly. I honestly think that'll be a really good game. And before we get to break, I really want to look at these highlights. The first ever outdoor volleyball match that Catholics hosted, incredible.
Yeah, drone shots, zooming in is unbelievable scene. I hope you guys enjoy it.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back to the Walk-Thru presented by Triple F. Jesse Smithey, joined by Malik Howard, 2027 tight end from Oak Ridge. And 2027 seemed like a long time ago, or like a long ways from graduation. Like last year when you were playing as a sophomore, now that you're a junior, it's like, man, it's getting close. What's it feel like when you transition from sophomore to junior? You're kind of that upperclassman guy now.
It's just really putting me in the mindset of being a leader for my team. It's just, I've taken a big step from going from feeling like one of the young guys to one of the older guys on the team. So it's just been a little bit of an adjustment.
Yeah. So tight end, we talked in the summer, just kind of a recruiting update that you and I did for 5starpreps.com. But during that discussion, we talked about you kind of putting yourself under the microscope, things that you looked at as your sophomore year and you wanted to improve upon in your junior year. What are a few of those things, and you feel like you were able to check those off your to-do list?
I feel like one of the main things I told you was being able to stretch the field and just help my team move the ball, move the chains better. And I feel like I'm definitely getting better at that, but I still have strides to improve week by week. And I feel like also my run after the catch could have some improvement this season.
I know it wasn't ideal last year because you ended up getting hurt for a little while too and had to miss a chunk of the season. The fact that you were able to come back, help your team in that state semifinal game, how rewarding was that for you, just to make your team competitive in that moment and almost pull off that win?
It was huge for me because it took a lot for me to get back. Like, it was almost impossible in my mind when I first got hurt, and then as the guys kept pushing and winning, it just became more and more of a reality, and it just felt great for me to even be out there and experience that.
You're in that moment, state semifinal game, you're winning. Does your mind ever drift ahead and go, man, we're this close to make it to the state championship game, or to be in that moment and be so close? How bittersweet is it to appreciate being in that moment, but also know that you came so close to getting to that final stage?
Yeah, at some point it sucks that we didn't make the few plays that could have really got us there, and I feel like we would have been state champions had we made it there.
Mm-hmm. Now Oak Ridge jumps up into 6A this year. I know that kind of provides a little bit of motivation. Have you seen more work, more intensity out of the guys to kind of, I've always played some 6A teams in non-conference play, but have you seen more motivation out of the guys to kind of adjust to that?
I feel like definitely we have. Like, Coach Ring all off season has preached to us that we're playing bigger, faster, stronger teams going into 6A, and we're not going to have the somewhat cupcake games that we might have had in the past. So it's just really boosted our intensity in practice and scrimmages heading into the season.
You guys opened up the season, with the win last week over Halls on that rivalry Thursday game. To get out of the gates like that and get that W, I know it's a hard-fought game. Just how rewarding was that?
It was very rewarding. I feel like we're going into week 2 much more confident than I have definitely in my whole high school career, because I feel like we were just firing on all cylinders, offense, defense. We had some errors on special teams, but those can be cleaned up. But as far as our core, I feel like we played some great football, and that just really gives me some confidence going into week 2.
When I got into this journalism thing, and I'd always talk with coaches at this point in the season, they would always tell me over and over and over again, teams improve the most from week 1 to week 2. What are the things that you guys have been working on? I know you mentioned a little bit there, but what have y'all been working on this week to not only prepare for Clinton, but to make yourselves better?
We definitely today at practice, we emphasize just being more connected on our passing game, just being able to have those big plays that we'll need. Even if it's not for just Clinton, but going down the road, we'll need to have better execution in the pass game.
I'll never forget, you played in our jamboree, I think your freshman year. You were lined up at defensive end, and after the game, or after you guys played in the jamboree, I texted Coach Rings like, man, Malik Howard, like, I love the frame on him. I could definitely see him turning into something. At that point, again, you were playing with your hand on the turf or on the dirt. Now you're a tight end. To see how things have changed for you, has it been overwhelming at times, or to have all the Division I offers and everything kind of come at you this early in your career?
For a while, it was like early in the process. It was because I was still relatively new to playing tight end. I really just started in 8th grade, and then my freshman year, I started getting attention for it, and it was just felt like a little bit of pressure because I had to go out and prove that I deserved it. But now I feel like it's more set in stone.
Yeah. So are you at the point in the recruiting process where you're looking at visiting colleges? Are you still unofficials? Like, how does all that work?
Yeah, I'm still, like, all fall, I'll be pretty much taking unofficial visits, going on game days, and then I guess starting next spring and next summer, I'll be taking officials.
All right. Well, man, I wish you the best of luck with that. I'm going to follow you on Twitter and Instagram to see wherever you're going every weekend, and definitely been fun to watch you kind of blossom into that Power 4 recruit. I looked at your social media before you came on, and just all the offers on there is pretty amazing to see all that kind of rush in. So definitely wish you the best of luck on that and this season, and I appreciate you coming out.
Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, that's Malik Howard, 4-star prospect tight end at Oak Ridge. Don't go anywhere. We got much more on the Walk-Thru presented by Triple F right after this.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.
Welcome back into the Walk-Thru. Paige, Dauer, Jesse, Smithey. Maybe my favorite part of the show, mostly because you're on the hot seat.
Dude, I was terrible last week. I was so bad at picking last week. Thankfully, some of the ones we picked got rained out, so that was like my saving grace. But I definitely missed the Maribel Alcoa pick, and I love it because people let me know. But what I respect from the Battle of Pistol Creek is that they're cordial about it and classy. It's never you're an idiot it's what you expect from those two programs. So salute to everybody involved in that.
Maybe it'll be better next time. But for now, we have the Rusty Wallace Kia game picks to look ahead to week 2, and it's the first one we could go to is Catholic and AC, which we previewed a moment ago.
Yeah, man, this is a tough one for me because I picked Powell last week to beat AC, and AC looked unbelievable in that first half. It had 18 points in that first half, and at one point we're up 18-0, making plays in that secondary, really getting after it defensively, and J.D. Gillum at quarterback really handled, I thought, the bright lights of playing in his first ever high school football game extremely well. Had a couple touchdowns there. Catholic, I think they're bigger, stronger, a little bit deeper. The Tyreek King factor I cannot put out of my head. And there's some young bulls back there in the secondary. Give me Catholic. They have to protect the football, though. They threw a couple interceptions last week. They cannot do that against a really good Anderson County secondary, but I'm going to take Catholic in a close one.
Okay, can't wait for week 3.
Yep.
All right, so the next one we can go to is Grace at Carter. So they're 2-0 all time, but the last time they met was 2012, and these teams going to be more different today than they were more than a decade ago.
Yeah, I mean, Carter definitely has my attention. Again, putting up a 50 spot in the first half. Brody Sparks is an experienced junior quarterback who's not afraid to hang 300-400 yards up on anybody, have multiple touchdowns. They had so many playmakers making touchdowns and chunk yardage plays last week in that win over Northview, so they definitely have my attention. Meanwhile, at Grace, they're dealing with, this is their first game. There's going to be some rust. They also don't have Terrion Thomas at running back. Remember last year, over 1,000 yards rushing and 1,000 yards receiving at tailback. That's huge productivity that you don't have in your offense anymore. But they still have some lightning quick playmakers at wide receiver. They have a gamer of a quarterback, great coaching as well on their staff. I like Grace Christian to win that football game, but there might be 8,000 points scored in that game.
There might be, actually.
Both teams are very offensive minded.
The next one we get to is Oak Ridge at Clinton. Again, a huge game. Community's very involved in both of them.
With the players that Oak Ridge has coming back, the veteran leadership at the playmaker positions, quarterback, tight end, wide receivers, running back, I like Oak Ridge to win this football game. Again, Clinton didn't really get to knock off the rust last week. They're still kind of adjusting to what games are going to be like from start to finish under a new head coach. They still have new guys out there in certain key spots. So I just feel like experience is going to win out over the intensity and the emotions of that game.
Sure. The next one is Central at Fulton. So Central's won the last 3, but they're 38, 20, and 2 all time.
Yeah, Fulton really struggled on the road last week against Macon County, who's the defending state champion, by the way, in 4A. But I think I was listening to Russell Mays on 91.1 on the way back from Carson Newman Saturday night, and it seemed like they had a different quarterback in for Fulton. So I like Central to win this football game. Caden Logg at quarterback, and got some really good running backs. I love their secondary, always have. And so Central wins this football game.
Yeah. Then we get to Gibbs and Hall's. Long history here. They're 40-9 all time in Hall's favor.
Yeah.
Is it 41-9 after this week?
I like Halls to win this football game. Again, I go back to the preseason, the hype around this team, the expectation level of this team. We didn't get to see it in full, I guess, full array in that week 1 loss to Oak Ridge, but I saw enough to know that Jarrell Chandler at wide receiver, he's being recruited by Power 4 prospects as a defensive back, but you're talking about 6'3", 200 pounds, and he made some unbelievable plays in that game at wide receiver. And I have to agree with what Austin Price said on Rivalry Thursday. The more reps Jarrell Chandler gets at wide receiver, the scarier he's going to get. So, excellent quarterback play at Halls. I don't think the turnover problem we saw in week 1, I think that'll go away. I like Halls to win that football game, but a lot of respect for what Gibbs does each and every year. I mean, they've leveled up that program to where they can compete in this game and possibly win it. Yeah.
Our last one to look at is Lenoir City at Loudon. Such a weird game last season.
Very weird.
Will be weird again this year.
It might be. I mean, that's one of the most intense rivalry. It's not talked about in the Alcoa Marivilles or the Bearden Farragut's of the world or the Powell Halls, but go to this football game if you want to see a true high school rivalry atmosphere and environment. It is intense. People that go cover it for us love going to cover it because they can just feel the emotion of it. I'm a little worried about what I saw or didn't see out of Loudon last week, kind of getting blown out there against William Blount. So for that reason, I'll take Lenoir City. Caden Jay, their running back, ran for over 200 yards last week. So maybe he's the X factor. I don't know enough about both teams yet to really feel confident in it and comfortable picking the team. But just given what I saw in week 1, I'll have to lean towards Lenoir City.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more confident in your picks this week too, but we'll see. It's not an endorsement for me, so if he's wrong, I don't want to be associated. If you're right, I would love to be associated.
It takes a couple weeks to kind of get a feel for it. So
Absolutely.
week 3, I'm going to hit my peak.
For sure, but through the first couple of weeks, it's been a great walkthrough, great first week of the season. Triple F and Rusty Wallace Kia are always great sponsors of ours at 5-Star Preps, and we can't wait to get back to here for week 3. So make sure you're subscribed and tuned in so you don't miss out. We'll talk to you then.
Is the Walk-Thru, powered by Triple F Elite Sports Training. Train like a pro. Your all-access pass to the biggest games, hottest stories, and everything high school football in East Tennessee. From the Friday night lights to the chase for championships, we bring you the stars, the headlines, and every heart-pounding moment. So strap on that chin strap and get ready. Jesse, Paige, and the 5-Star Preps team are here with the most complete high school football coverage in the state. This is the Walk-Thru.
When you shop at Elliott's, your journey is our purpose.
North Knox Siding and Windows is a complete exterior home improvement company that can help you with all your exterior needs. Visit us today at 5618 North Broadway.